Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Josh, mortgage broker here in Edmonton, and as always, I'm joined by Jay Lewis, one of Edmonton's go-to realtors. Jay, good to be back.
Hey, it's always good. This month, we've really got some numbers that are actually worth paying attention to, I think, this time. 26 stats just came out from the REALTOR Association of Edmonton. I think the market's starting to shift, maybe.
And you know what? I was looking through the sheet, and there's a few things that jumped out right away. More inventory, longer days on market, prices holding, but not exactly running away.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a crash, not a boom. I'd say transition. That's usually where buyers and sellers need the most clarity, actually.
Okay, so let's get into it. We'll start with inventory because it's probably the biggest story. The end of month active inventory sitting at 6,911 homes, and last April it was 5,265. So Jay, from a realtor's perspective, what does that tell you?
I mean, it's a bit of a jump, right? It's like 31% homes are more available year over year. For buyers, though, it's like there's a few more choices as long as you're shopping in the right category, I would say. For the longest time, buyers felt like they had to jump on anything that was decent. Inventory is so tight, but now we're starting to see a bit more breathing room for sure.
So does that mean we've finally shifted into a buyer's market?
No, it's not moving in that direction. Not totally yet. I wouldn't call it a true buyer's market just yet. Sales to listing ratios come in at 59% though for April. Last year it was at 70%. So listings aren't selling quite as quickly. Buyers have more leverage as they did before. But you know what? 59% still shows a lot of activity.
So it's more balanced now, maybe slightly leaning more in favor of buyers than before.
Yeah, let's call it balanced with buyer-friendly conditions, possibly. They're going to start to show up a little more yet.
Okay, so total active listings this month were 4,207 compared to 3,845. So it's up almost 400 from last year. But the year-to-date sales, those are down. We're at 7,364 this year compared to 8,586 a year ago.
Right. So more homes coming on the market. Fewer homes are selling like different speed, right? So that combination matters now because it changes like how buyers, how sellers should approach the market, really.
Okay, well, let's talk about prices then, because really at the end of the day, that's what everybody wants to know. The average residential sale price in April 2026 was $478,902. And last April, it was $470,075. So technically, prices are still up year over year.
They are, but it's not a huge jump, like 1.9% increase, really, right? So the market is just holding value. It's not exploding. I mean, look, it's going in the right direction, up, not down, right? So, but we also like to talk about median prices, Josh. So we have 450,000 this April compared to $446,750 last year. That's even maybe a slightly smaller gap, yeah.
$5,000 to $10,000 difference year over year is almost nothing, really. From a mortgage side, I actually like looking at the median because it gives a cleaner picture. The average can get pulled up or down by a few really expensive sales, right?
Yeah. So the median tells us the middle of the market, it's still quite stable. But if you break it into the property type, it does get a bit more interesting there as well. So detached homes averaged $589,384. Compare that to $584,420 last year. That's basically flat, just up slightly.
So detached homes are holding, but certainly not taking off.
Right. You know what? Semi-detached actually came down a bit. 423,341 this year compared to 434,891 last year. Row houses and townhomes are also basically flat to slightly down. 313,193 this year compared to 314,977 last year.
But condos, the apartments, those are up now, right?
Yeah, it's so strange, right? So, and it's actually quite interesting, really, because apartment condos went from 218,342 last year, and they went up to 225,842 this April.
So why do you think the condos are seeing more upward pressure?
So, I mean, we're going to chalk it up to affordability. So, the condo, the entry level is a lot lower. Buyers need to be very cautious of condo fees, of course, because that affects affordability. But generally, overall, I would say it's probably a little easier to qualify for if the condo has a fair condo fee.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that on the mortgage side too. More buyers are asking, what can I actually afford? For a lot of people, condos and townhouses, I guess, are where the numbers make the most sense right now. So what does that mean if someone is thinking about listing their home for sale?
So pricing matters very much. If you misprice a home before, we'd be penalized a bit, but now it's a totally different story. So you can't just throw a number on the wall, hope the market catches up, comes to you. You overprice in this kind of market, buyers notice it, they're not going to come see you. they have other choices. Then you reduce, and by that point, people are asking like, "What's wrong with it?" So you have to enter right.
So the strategy really is you've got to price it right from day one.
Yeah. So price it right, present it properly, market it correctly, come strong right out of the gate. So the sellers are still doing well are the ones who are realistic, they're well prepared, and they're not trying to chase last year's market.
Okay, so aside from the buyer side, I'm noticing less panic, and buyers are actually taking time to review numbers, compare options, and do proper due diligence.
Yeah, so it's way healthier, it's calmer, it's a little bit easier to be a buyer for sure in this market.
So let's talk about where the most of the activity is actually happening. The busiest price range was 450,000 to 499,999 or 500,000, with 306 of the sales making up just over 12% of the market. And the next one was that 400 to 450 range with 290 sales.
Right. So Edmonton's heart right now, the heart of this market is $400 to $500,000 range. There's a huge appetite for that. So that's where you see a lot of like the move up buyers, young families, people transitioning from a condo, townhome into a detached home.
And that's also where the affordability starts to get a bit tighter, right? A small change in interest rates or monthly payments can make a bigger difference for buyers in that price range. And of course, the ones above that too.
Yeah. So the buyers have to know the numbers before they start shopping. So, they need that really good pre-approval, understand affordability. And in that price band, the good properties move quick. So this is super important.
Now, here's another one, that over $1 million bucket. There were 86 sales, which made almost 3.5% of the market. It's not a massive percentage, but it's definitely not nothing.
Right. And Edmonton's luxury market is growing quietly. But we see some confidence in that higher end segment now, especially from people who want more space. They want privacy, better finishes, maybe a lifestyle property without paying Calgary or even Vancouver prices yet.
And then on the other end, under $100,000, there were still 28 sales. What's going on there?
I mean, there's a buyer for everything, but that also tells another story too.
Yeah, I don't think those are the ones people who are watching our channel want to be buying, right? So that's the Edmonton market right there. If we're going to summarize this month, we have more inventory. The prices, though, are mostly stable. Homes are taking longer to sell, and buyers are getting a little bit more room to breathe. That's a nice spring to be in.
Yeah, that's really just it. So if you're a buyer, this could be one of the best windows in this time that we've seen for quite a while, right? So you have more selection, you got a little more negotiating power, and way less pressure than we saw in the hotter markets.
But on the flip side, if you're a seller,
so you can get this straight, really good, strong result, but you have to be sharp. So you have to price it right, presentation, market it, and timing matters more than ever now. So kind of like we touched on earlier. Yeah.
So if you're wondering what you can afford in this market, that's where I come in. Reach out and we'll walk right through those numbers together. Make sure you take a look at the description here on the video.
If you're thinking about buying, you're thinking about selling anywhere in the Edmonton area, we got a good little team that can help you. Meet with us. We know what's going on in the market. We can absolutely help you. We'd love to do it.
And drop any questions in the comments. We do read them all.
That's right. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.